Welcome to this Vivit event. Transform your leadership skills into a Vivit local user group leader. We are glad you are here. Your Vivit community team consists of Bob Cruz, Vivit Board of Directors, Terry Sorello, Vivit Staff, America's local user group and special interest group liaison, and myself, Annemarie Stuiver, Vivit Staff, EMEA, APJ, local user group and special interest group liaison. Today's webinar is hosted and moderated by Bob Cruz, Community Chair at the Vivit Board of Directors, and also President and co-founder of Checkpoint Technologies. Thank you for being our host today, Bob. Over to you.
Thank you, Anna-Marie. Thank you very much. I am so excited about today's webinar because we're utilizing a different format, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. But one other thing besides being CEO and co-founder of Checkpoint Technologies and community chair on the Vivit board, I'm also very proud to be a Florida LUG leader and have been for many years. So that is what we are going to focus on with our panel today. So I would like to just jump right in and give some brief introductions of our panel, and then they're going to be giving some more detail, and then we're going to get into a great discussion period. And one of the things that I want to emphasize to all of you, please ask questions. We're very, very excited. So Rocky, we've got Rocky Pisto, who's joining us today. Hey, Rocky.
Hey, Bob.
And
how are you?
Rocky is the great. And Rocky is the Vivit Engage Coordinator of Vivit Worldwide. He's got some incredible experience to share. I've had the privilege of knowing Rocky for what, Rocky? Probably about maybe 12, 15 years, somewhere in there.
Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah. So welcome, Rocky, and thank you for joining us. And then we also have Mark Herbert. And Mark is a quality analyst with Dignity Health, and he's going to be diving into greater detail. He is on the board, I'm happy to say. And I've known Mark now for, maybe 20, 21 years, right?
Actually, Bob, right exactly at 20 years, 1999. So 20 years, yeah.
Wow. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Mark. This is going to be great.
Yep, happy to do it.
And then also, yeah, thank you. And then we've also got Dr. Carsten Niemann. Welcome, Karsten. Thanks for joining us. Karsten is a senior IT quality consultant. So, glad to have you on board, Karsten. Glad that you could join us. And are you there? Are you able to hear us okay, Karsten? And I'm sure, and this right here, folks, is proof that this is a live webinar. When we have little glitches, there's Karsten. Hi, Karsten. And you might be on mute, Karsten, if you could check that. We can't hear you.
So hi, everybody. Now everything should work. I hope you can hear me now.
Fantastic. We can hear you fine, Karsten. Thank you very much. So thank you so much for joining us. And I just wanted, before we dive into this outstanding, very interactive webinar, as you all are seeing, I just want to share with you all a few housekeeping tips. So this live session is being recorded. Recordings are available to all Vivit members. And then we're going to have a session Q&A. So if you would please type in the questions in the questions pane that you should see right over in the control panel and submit any questions that you have. You're going to see that there's a toggle view window where you can toggle between full screen or window mode. And then you see we're pointing to the questions panel where you're going to want to submit those questions, as well as any thoughts or ideas that you have as we have this conversation with the panel today. So very quick. So who do we have on the audience? We have got current LUG leaders. So LUG is local user groups, as well as anyone interested in learning more about becoming a LUG leader and the many benefits. So the reason that we put this particular webinar together is we wanted to help current leaders better organize lug meetings and increase attendance. We also wanted to help find additional leaders to co-lead with current leaders. Vivit and our lugs are absolutely growing. The relationship with Micro Focus is phenomenal. We have got some great things planned for 2019. So we're excited to do this in an effort to get some additional leaders that can continue with our growth. And we want to help find leaders to fill open positions globally. And we're going to use a panel format, as you've already seen, where I'm going to be the moderator. And we've got the 3 current lug leaders in Rocky, Mark, and Karsten. And they're going to be discussing the value of being a Vivit leader and a few tips, a few secrets to success. So with that, we're going to turn it over to our first panelist, Rocky Pisto. So Rocky, take it away.
Thanks, Bob. Really appreciate the opportunity to kind of share my years of experience supporting the Vivit community. I've been an active member since about 1996 when it was the OpenView Forum, and been involved ever since. So currently, I'm the Vivit sponsorship liaison, which means all these webinars that you see, the emails that you get about events that Micro Focus is putting on or partners are putting on, they come through the sponsorship process where Micro Focus comes to us to share this information with you, our members. And so that's been a great role. I've been doing that for the last 8 years. I'm also the APM and OpsBridge SIG leader, which means since I've been involved since the OpenView days, these are tools that evolved from the early days. And I want to make sure that we support our customers and our partners that are involved in this kind of stuff. So we put on events throughout the year. We had a whole series of SIG talks last year. We brought interesting information to the community. I was a partner with PCI for 30 years. Retired from there last year, and that's the reason I became a lug leader. My customers, when I first got into selling these products, they wanted to know what other customers were thinking and how they were using the tools. So I found a way to do that and became a lug leader, and I've been doing it for about 16, 17 years now, mainly in Michigan and Ohio. And we got some great stories to tell as we go through this. Our lugs have been focused, as Bob says, not only do we want lug leaders, but we want to enhance or grow the actual lug to support multiple pillars of the Micro Focus solution. So when Micro Focus started, or HP at the time, was starting to acquire and fill gaps in the different areas, we try to support those customers at the local level. So my lugs had an ITIME feel, it had an ADM group, and it had a service management group at the time to support the customers that had those tools and bring them together. And I want to tell you, I've been in IT for the last 37 years, and there's never been the kind of joy that I have felt volunteering to support this organization. And I guess it kind of shows based on some of the awards that I've gotten in the past. And, I'm also an artist, but one of the things that I always say is that it's cheaper than therapy. And the reward of helping customers learn from each other, I feel like the parish priest. So nothing more I can say there. But, I would run meetings, again, in Michigan and Ohio. And the beauty was we could do this anywhere in the state. I had the state, so I could do it. In the case of Ohio, we went to Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Akron. Wherever we had a customer that could host us, we would go. And the same thing with Michigan, Detroit area, Grand Rapids, Holland. So just had a great time. putting out on average about 8 events a year. And it sounds like a lot, but it got pretty easy once you got into a rhythm. So that's my highlight story.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Rocky. And I just wanted to share with the audience. So we had shared that the acronym LUG, as many of you know, stands for Local User Group. And then the acronym that you see, SIG, S-I-G, that stands for Special Interest Group. But Rocky, that was fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. And now I'm going to introduce our next panelist, Mark Herbert. Mark, take it away.
Thank you, Bob. Hi, everyone. Happy to be with you today. As Bob mentioned at the outset of our conversation, he and I met actually when I got my career started in testing. We worked for the same, at that time, Mercury partner company. He was among the first wave of consultants that was hired to work in testing and support the, at that time, Mercury testing tools. And then I was part of a second group of folks that was hired and trained in those. And we've been friends ever since, proud to say, and very happy to see all his success with his company, and I've actually been a customer of Checkpoint at different places along the way. I'm from New Jersey originally, and back in around 2005, I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the way to Arizona, and that's where I first started down the road of becoming involved in Vivit. While I was in Pittsburgh, there was no local user groups of any kind around the at that point Mercury testing tools. So I started a Mercury user group in the Pittsburgh area with their support and blessing. And then after the acquisition of HP buying Mercury, that's when Vivit came on the scene. And we rolled our Mercury user group into the Vivit organization, and so I've been a member of Vivit ever since. And then in 2008, moved to where I reside currently here in Arizona, and hooked on with the Vivit local user group there, and offered to help. And once their leadership, there was one of the co-leaders at the time that had to step down because he actually went to work for HP directly. So I was able to step in as a co-leader there, and have been involved at the local level in Arizona, running our LUG ever since. I was actually fortunate and grateful to win Leader of the Year award back in 2012, and was right shortly thereafter nominated to the Vivit Board of Directors as a candidate, and won election. And I've been serving both at the local user group level and at the Vivit Board of Directors level for the board since 2013. This year, and actually for the past couple years, I've been serving as vice president, particularly focused on operations, helping support our contracted staff and facilitating their needs, and helping keep things going for them, and representing them to the board of directors at large. You can go to the next slide.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add very quickly, Mark, that Mark was just key in inspiring me to run for the Vivit board, because I just, could see Mark as well as Rocky's passion for the Vivit community, the benefits, which we'll be talking more about. But for that, I want to thank you, Mark. So I can't thank you enough.
I appreciate that, Bob. You've been obviously an inspiration and a mentor to me as well. So we've helped each other, and the Vivit board definitely benefits by your experience being part of it now. So that's great. As far as the local user group here in Arizona goes, we currently have about 480 registered members, and we try to do at least 3 local events a year. A couple years there over my time with the group, we've done as many as 4 events a year, but we try to at least get 3 in, and we cover all of Arizona, really. We have had some folks come up from the Tucson area and south, the southern part of Arizona to some of our meetings. We haven't had any of those customers so far, anyway, offer to host down there, but we're certainly more willing to go anywhere in the state that's necessary to meet. But generally speaking, we meet in the general Phoenix area and the surrounding downtown Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, really all over. And we'll get into more specifics during the panel discussion on how those meetings operate. But yeah, it's been a great experience, and as Rocky has said, it's a wonderful opportunity to connect with folks that are using these solutions out in the field and share ideas, and that's really why way back, when I was still living in Pittsburgh, I wanted to start a user group to help bring those people together like myself that were using these products and trying to learn from each other the best ways to use them or things to avoid and those kind of things. So that's a very high level version of my story, Bob.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And on to our third panelist, I'd like to introduce Dr. Carsten Niemann. Karsten, please feel free to take it away. We're all looking forward to hearing more about you.
Okay, thanks for giving the opportunity, and hello to everybody. I have the honor to speak about what is happening in Germany. It's always informating or very good to speak with how Vivit is living in USA. I am working for a partner in Germany, so my part is mainly in the ADM part. I moved to the company, I think, to 2011, and 2 years later, I was asked by Annemarie Stoiver for supporting the Vivit. I agreed with that, and at that time, I have really to say that it was not like the other said. They built up a new community. There was already a work done, and especially I have to mention Dr. Andreas Berg, who's mainly SIG leader, but he, with other guys, created the community in Germany. And I mainly work with him, and it is really a good way of working with him. So there was already a community there, and we grow the community. Let's say it like that. So we maybe you can one slide before, please. Can you go one slide back, please? And yeah, so we just grow the community, and we are maybe a bit different working than America, because we face with the whole part of Germany, and we have several sub-districts, but it's not so well organized for like in USA. We try to offer different kind of formats. So we have this kind of local meetings, but what we also try to start is like in performance engineering, some kind of webinars. It's more or less not really good working. That's what we see. Maybe we have some more input where we speak about the latest version of load runner, storm runner functional, and so on. Yeah, but this is not so really good working, but what is right now working is that we have a very huge growth in the local user groups meetings, and especially we really want to have new leaders because it's going to be too much for the two of us. It's mainly two of us. Yeah, maybe now you can go to the next slide, please. So this is the region how Germany is working right now. So we have more space like maybe Pittsburgh, and this is why we have mainly 5 regions. So we have Cologne, and there's always a main how to say a person for that. You can read them. I won't. Then we have the region South. We have the region Munich, which was reopened, I think, in 2014, and is really good growth there. We have Frankfurt, which is called Roundtable Finanzwirtschaft, and then we have the huge region Northeast. And it's not only done all by Andreas Berg and me. You can read all these other guys. They really do a big work for organizing events, also for organizing events at the customer side, because this is what we in Germany face off. It's not so easy to get a customer that he's organizing such an event. This is at the beginning of organizing such an event, takes some time. If we don't find the customer, we will go either to the partner side or directly to some rooms of Micro Focus. What we do see right now in Germany, I spoke about the meeting of performance engineering as webinar, which is not working very well. But what we really see is ALM Octane, which is the new let's call it test management tool. It's more, but just to consider it. We will hold several kind of webinars. And we will start. You see the new date, and this is really very good. Except that we had some webinars in the past, and this we really think is a good opportunity to make a good mix of webinars and local events. Yeah, and I think this is
that's a great point, Karsten. Thank you very much. And obviously you've got quite the region there, and you've done a great number of things to grow your local user groups and your special interest groups. So great job on that. So with that being said, now I'm going to dive into the panel discussion. And if you see the slide and it's blank for a reason. We just wanted to, again, make this a discussion. I'm going to throw out a few questions to the panel. So thank you, Karsten, Rocky, and Mark, for those introductions and overviews of your local user groups. And as I mentioned, I'm a co-leader in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. So I know we've got a lot to discuss. So the first question I want to throw out to each of you, and Rocky, if you don't mind, we'll start with you first. I had shared that Mark was a key inspiration and the passion that I had seen in all of you. What was the inspiration for you becoming a Vivit local user group leader?
Thanks, Bob. Unlike you guys, I was a sales rep, and I feel more that I was more of a relationship rep. I don't think I could sell very well, but I always loved working with people. So when I landed my first major customer in the OpenView space, it was CompuServe. And they were monitoring half the internet in the world at that time, and we sold them this solution to do that. And they kept asking me, where can we go to find out what other customers are doing with this product? Are they doing it the same way we are, or is there something we can learn from them? And I said, well, there's this organization called Vivit that I'm a member of, and they run lug events. So I went to Chicago, and at that time, Pepperweed was running a lot of these lugs in our space. And I got to meet Jim Murphy from Pepperweed, who later became a Vivit board member. I met Henry Wojak, who was the end user from Walgreens, who later became a Vivit president. And I saw how they ran this meeting, and I said, I can do this. You don't have to be technical to put on and facilitate a meeting. And the first meeting we had over 50 customers and about 30 partners in the back of the room, making sure we weren't stealing their customers. and it's evolved ever since. So my inspiration was listening to the customer. If you listen to your customers, you're always going to win. And they enjoyed the opportunity to share best practices, to hear what the vendor had to say, and to hear what the partner solutions had to offer. And this was a great way of doing that. So that's how I got into it.
Fantastic. That's great, Rocky. Thank you. And Mark, same question to you, Mark. What inspired you to become involved with Vivit and become a local user group leader?
Sure, Bob. I would say the main inspiration was my desire to be able to connect with other people that were in the same industry and using the same products so that we can learn from each other. As I said earlier, at the time when I was living in the Pittsburgh area, we didn't have a local chapter or a local user group. And so I knew that there had to be other people in the greater Pittsburgh area that were doing testing, using these testing tools that I could learn from, and vice versa, share my experiences from over the years as well. So that's what drove me to go down the road of approaching Mercury to find out if there was in fact an existing user group in the area that I wasn't aware of, but then they confirmed that there was not. So I then asked if I can start one, and they agreed, and the rest is history from there. But that was my main motivation. Plus, on the personal side, in addition to wanting to be able to learn from my peers that were using these solutions, I also, being new to the Pittsburgh area, just wanted to get to know and meet people in general. So it served a personal interest as well to start the Vivit chapter there, or at the time Mercury chapter, and become a leader, because it helps just get to know people, real good people, in fact, that's involved with Vivit all over. So those were my main inspirations to educate and learn and share ideas, war stories, as Rocky likes to say, the good, the bad, and the ugly of using these products. So that was my inspiration.
Can't hear you, Bob.
Sorry about that. That is a great point when we think about the number of people, who are passionate and knowledgeable. That is an excellent point. So thank you. And now, Karsten, I'm going to throw it over to you. Same question. What inspired you to get involved with Vivit?
I think there is no main issue. I think I just can just repeat what the other two said. What I just did is looking a lot of webinars. I was interested, and then I was asked by Anne-Marie to get a luck. And now I can just repeat. It's so interesting to share the knowledge between the users. We want to because problems are really the same for the same tools. So, and it's interesting to get the people together to talk about that, to talk about new ideas. So this community character is really to be emphasized about that. And it was just growing at the beginning. I didn't know what it really means, but if I now hear to the other two guys, I can just repeat all that. And yeah, that's it. It's really good to see the community.
Great. Well, thank you to all of you for answering that question. Great job. And Karsten, since we're with you right now, I'll throw the next question out to you. Can you share with the attendees today, our audience, maybe 2 or 3 benefits you've realized professionally or even technically in regard to your technical skills, professional skills, when it comes to being a member of Vivit?
What is technically really to be said is that you get a huge overview. We are not industry restricted. We are talking to logistic, to automotive, to bank. So you get a complete brand bundle of different technologies, and you know then more than if you only work in one company, because you're get in touch with all these different kind of peoples with their different kind of problems, and then you can better use UFT or Quality Center or which tool you're speaking about. So this is, I would say, the really main advantage of being a Vivit leader and all this kind of doing this. And yeah, maybe also get know people what to ask for, because he's working with that. You can delegate the problems, or you can say ask this guy, he's also having the same problems. This is what is really at least I would tell these 2 main points which are very good.
No, excellent. Thank you. And Rocky, what about you, Rocky? Give us 2 or 3 things that from a professional point of view you feel that Vivit has enhanced your situation and provided some benefits.
Oh, absolutely. As a small partner in the Midwest, we didn't have a lot of exposure. And when I had the opportunity to be given the database of members in, for example, Ohio or Michigan, and being able to share things with them, it provided awareness to me as a partner, not only to the end users, but to the Microfocus personnel in the area. So they got to know who we were, what skills we offered, what services we could provide. So as a partner, it was a no-brainer to take on this leadership role to bring customers together. That was number 1. Number 2, a lot of customers at that time, and I think even to today, they want to know, is there, when I buy this solution, is there a user community that my people can go to learn from others? And that was a big advantage because we had that. We provided almost an educational service for their customers, because a lot of times the customer wasn't able to go to training. Here's the documentation, good luck. And as we all know, it's more than just documentation. There's a lot of customizations, automations, all that kind of stuff that requires some experience. And so that's probably the second part. And number 3, providing the service of being a lug leader to the customers. They really appreciate it. And believe me, I came up with the whole sales process of how to sell to an end user, why we should be hosting it at their location, and how they should be promoting it to their team, and on and on and on. So that's it for me. That's a great point, Rocky. It's, being part of the Vivit community, it just gives you access to a knowledge base amongst all of your peers. And we have had organizations in the Tampa Bay area that are thrilled with the fact that there is this type of a user group available to them to attend, where they can enhance their own as well as, their employees, their users' knowledge. So great point on that. Excellent. And Mark, what about you? Can you share 2 or 3 things that professionally or personally, in ways that Vivit has provided benefit to you?
Absolutely. Sure, Bob. The one of the things I would say is on the technical side, just being able to get with other folks that are using these different tools and learning from them, seeing how they're doing things at their organizations, has expanded my technical skills and my knowledge by having access to other folks and hearing their lessons learned and best practices. So it's definitely helped me grow technically, being able to take some of those things back to my own place of work and apply them and grow from there. And then professionally, being a Vivit leader has helped because my employers know that, in addition to being able to obviously go to, Microfocus and get support, I have a larger network of people locally and around the world, through the Vivit worldwide community that use these products day to day, and I can reach out to them and get ideas and answers and get problems solved. So, my employers that I've had since being involved in Vivit really like that because they know that I don't just have one place to go to try to get problems solved. I potentially have a 40 or so thousand, whatever our current membership worldwide membership numbers is. And then, of course, since being on the board of directors, I get a lot of support from my employers there, and it's benefited me professionally because they know that, at the director level, we're getting to meet with and talk to Micro Focus executives and get in with their research and development teams and give them our feedback more frequently maybe than just a average customer might. So being involved with Vivit and being a leader in Vivit, whether it be at the local level, special interest group level, or as a director, has been beneficial for personally and technically and professionally.
Yeah, that's excellent points there. One of the things I believe we can all safely say, one of the benefits is, naturally Micro Focus makes a very strong effort to be accessible to customers and end users. Being part of Vivit gives you another avenue in regard to access to Micro Focus and their team, both on the sales side, support side, as well as customer service and technical. So thank you very much for that, all of you. One of the things I want to ask, and I'm cheating here, I'm looking at my notes, but Mark, I'm going to start off with you. If you could just share with the audience some tips, some things that you've done to grow and build the local user group there in Arizona, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, getting to know your membership, getting to know what organizations are represented in your membership, and know what they're doing with the products and what kind of products they're using has been helpful, because then you know what other customers and folks to try to reach out for and grow your membership that way. Another big thing is getting to know your local Micro Focus representatives, whether it be the local sales representatives, the solution engineers, the field marketing representatives. That has been beneficial because they want to support the user group community. And the easiest way to find that out, if you don't know, is one of two ways. One, within your own company, ask people within your company that have to acquire your licenses who are our sales reps, and then you can get in touch with them that way. Or if you get stuck, ask folks within Vivit, and they might know at least territorially who represents what, if they don't know your specific salesperson. And then, of course, the partner companies like Checkpoint Technologies or whatever the local partner companies are in your area, getting to know those folks and inviting them out to your Vivit events, because they could potentially partner with you on hosting an event at some point down the line, in addition to or in place of any support you might get from Micro Focus directly. So making those relationships and partnerships with your membership and your Micro Focus representatives and your Micro Focus partners in your area has served me well over the years, Bob.
Yeah, no, excellent, Mark. Thank you very much. And Karsten, as you explained earlier, you've got some unique considerations at play. So if you could share with everybody just some tips on what you've done to build and grow your local user groups, that would be great.
The first thing to mention is maybe it's not a one-man show. So in Germany we are 2 or 3 guys, and then to set up, as Mark said, a team. So we are working with other partners like SQS, Sogeti, Capgemini. So we try to build up a team. So it's not only that one person can do that, but several people can do that. We always are in keep close contact to Annemarie. That we send emails, invitations, so that the planning of such meetings is really very well organized. Also, yeah, keeping close to Microfocus, I would not only tell to the sales part what we did also in Germany. So it would be nice to hear if you do also in USA. We had some colleagues of R&D either by webinar or directly in the meetings. So they were at that time in Munich or so, and then they joined the meeting. So this was really good. And this brings me to the next topic. Discuss the right things at the right time. So we really try to fit what customers are interested about, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all that thing. This is helping to get people motivated to come. This, I think, or at least what I can.
Carsten, if you don't mind me asking real quick, so I mean that's a great point about the timing and whatnot. How do you determine that? Do you do that by asking customers and members on a regular basis, by just research? How do you determine what your members and customers want to hear about?
At the end of every meeting, we make a survey so that those people who are joining the meeting, so we have a flip chart and just make a survey inside there. And then we do from time to time some doodle surveys, yeah, to really ask what are people interested. So what are Vivit members are really interested in hearing.
That's great. That's great. So I could see where the survey, I know a lot of lugs do that, and that makes a lot of sense. Fantastic. Anything else that you'd want to share, Karsten, in regard to building and growing your local user group?
No. I think this is, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks.
No, excellent. And Rocky, with your vast experience, please enlighten us and share with us just some of the different things that you do to increase attendance and grow your local user group.
Sure, and it kind of all comes down to, things I do in marketing. So, for example, trying to find a customer that everybody would like to go to their environment to see how they're using the tools. I know there's a lot of security kind of things, but we don't really care much about, the inside company information. We just want to know how you're using the tools. So by what I tell customers that will host the event, if you host the event, you're going to get all this exposure from your peers, number one. Invite the silos in your own company that you support, because they'll come to your event. They'll see how you're using the tool to help them for the company. And they'll also see that you're getting the respect of all these other companies around the area that see you as a valuable asset. So it's a win-win for you personally. Number two, it increases your leadership skills, so that by you organizing an event, planning, presenting, moderating, it just shows your own company what you're able to do. And that's number one. Number two, Vivit's been around for over 25 years, which means we've seen all the transition that's gone on from HP to HPE to Microfocus. We have been the most consistent thing to the end user for years. And what I find when I put on events, I'm introducing Microfocus personnel to their customers for the first time. So it's valuable to Microfocus to support and promote the lug events. And number two, it's not selling. So you can call up a customer, potential customer. And by the way, this might be beneficial for you to learn how customers are using our tools before you purchase, Mr. Customer or potential customer. So it's a win-win for Micro Focus. It's a win-win for the end user. And for obviously for me as a lug leader, I'm getting the respect of the community and the respect of Micro Focus for bringing them together. So those are, and we could spend an hour on this stuff, but that's probably the highlight.
Yeah, that's you just you remind us all that when you're involved in a local user group like Vivit, there are just so many winners. So even the organizations in the area that are willing to host a meeting, they can see, as you mentioned, they show everybody that they have the mindset to be in touch with the community, and that they're more, and I don't want to overuse this term, but they're more leading edge. So great point
Right.
when it comes to that. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
One more point. So our
Yes.
third-party partner ecosystem, I have become, or Vivit has become their user group as well. So when we put on events, we invite our third-party partners to present what's new in their solution and how it integrates with Micro Focus, and they have become part of the community. So it's just a three-pronged approach that it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And one of the tips I'd like to share with everybody is, I've always found that user groups in general have a certain camaraderie. So it's not a competition. And one of the things that we've done in the Tampa Bay area a couple of times is we've actually teamed up with other different user groups and merged our meetings. And then our members are able to learn about that user group, and the other user group members are able to learn more about Vivit. So everybody wins, and that particular dynamic has worked really well. And then one of the things you all had mentioned is that Micro Focus is very engaged. Here in the Tampa Bay area, we're having a Vivit user group meeting next Thursday on the 24th, and I'm going to be co-presenting with a few engineers from the Micro Focus side. So very excited about that. So thank you very much, all of you, for the tips that you shared. And one of the things that I want to do now is just get to a few questions. So please, everybody, we've got a few questions that I'm going to throw out to the group. Feel free to submit more. So one of the questions that we have here is, if each of you could share, and Karsten, I tell you what, we'll start with you if you don't mind. Approximately, we're being asked approximately how many hours a month do you spend on working on investing in being a local user group leader?
I have just to think about. So it's not. There are peaks inside, so I have to average it. Maybe between 15 and 20 hours per month in average.
Okay. All right. Great. And Rocky, what about you, sir?
So it kind of boils down to my role as marketing anyway. So I'll tell you, one of the tips or one of the tricks that I've used to support both a multi-pronged approach. So a roadshow, for example, I'll take the same agenda and I take the team of presenters, whether it was Micro Focus, and we would go from city to city. So it just made the economy of time and scale of everything else very efficient. 10 to 15 hours a month, probably max. And I put on 8 events a year on average, almost. And it was simple because in 2 weeks, if I put on 5 events to go from city to city to city to city, I covered what I was required to do as a Vivit leader of putting on 2 events a year in each state, for example. So it made it quite efficient to reach all the customers in the different areas so they didn't have to make the drive. And So something like that, I guess, 10, 15 hours a month.
Okay. Yep. Great. And Mark, what about you?
Yeah, Bob. I would say pretty consistent to what Karsten and Rocky said. It really depends on, it'll be more busy leading up to having an event, and then for the say month or two where it's between events, it's a little less busy. But if you average it all out, probably anywhere between 10 and 15 hours a month for the local user group stuff. I'm leaving the board of directors stuff out of it for that response. But yeah, for the local user group stuff, that sounds about right.
Okay. All right, great. And then like you, Mark, like you just mentioned, not counting the director task, local user group, I spend probably about 5 to 10. But then I've got there's an incredible co-leader, Paul Shoveland, here in the Tampa Bay area, who invests a significant amount of time. He handles getting the invitations out. So we divide our responsibilities, and then he probably spends closer to maybe about 8 to 10, maybe a little bit more per month. So thank you very much for sharing that, all of you. So one other question that we're being asked is, do you now Rocky, you're focused primarily on the ITOM solutions, correct?
Right.
And then so do you have you noticed much of a difference in user groups and the size and the growth when it comes to ITOM versus the ADM?
Oh, absolutely. And it's evolved back and forth, to be honest with you. When we were strictly ITOM, obviously there was a big audience. Then HP acquired all the testing tools, the Mercury tools, the Peregrine tools, on and on and on. And it kind of got diluted. And then, picking up guys like you and Mark in the testing space to become Vivit leaders, the testing side became much larger. I'd say the Vivit community was pretty much 60% testing and 30% ITOM at the time. But I guess some of the numbers are kind of changing, and it evolves with the tools. So as the tools mature, or they get old, or they come back with new versions to get customers excited again, there might be a rotation of who's using what tools. But yeah, the ITOM groups have quieted down significantly because we're based around two tools, N&M and Operations Manager. And those tools, there's customers still using a lot of these tools, and now moving into the Ops Bridge world. So we're trying to keep them engaged. And again, these are careers. These people have made a career around these tools. They don't want to have to switch tools if they don't have to. If the tools are doing the job, they're happy because it's what they do. It's what they do best. You guys are an example of that. You've been doing it for years in your space. And so Vivit customers or Vivit members or Micro Focus customers want to be Micro Focus customers. And they just want to make sure that they're getting the representation from Micro Focus that they feel that they are respected to. So that's what we try to do.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, we are running short on time, and there are a few other things that I wanted to share with all of the attendees. So thank you so much for answering those questions. We appreciate that very much. Karsten, Rocky, and Mark, great job. This has been a blast for me. And just to share a few things with everybody, I mean, if you would like more information, and I know you're going to want to, about becoming a Vivit leader, if you have any questions, ideas, suggestions, anything, you see our email addresses there, mine as well as Anna Marie's and Terry Soralo's. So please email us, contact us. We look forward to any questions, ideas, suggestions that you might have. We want to hear from you. And I also want to make sure that everybody is aware about the ITOM Summit 2019. Mark your calendars, save the date. It's going to be February 5th through 7th at the Point Hilton Tapatio Cliffs Resort. I won't lie to you, I had to look up the pronunciation for Tapatio, and that's in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. But if you've not been to a summit, it is an incredible gathering of Micro Focus customers and experts from Micro Focus, product managers, and there is just a wealth of information. It truly is a lot of fun and very beneficial. So hopefully you can make that. And then, and I apologize on the slides, and then please feel free to contact us again. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you, Rocky. Thanks you, Mark.
Everyone.
Thanks, Karsten.
Thanks.